Hello and welcome. We appreciate you joining us here today. We will be getting started on the top of the hour, so get that last second coffee refill, and we will see you in about 5 minutes' time.
Hello and welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Today's webinar is all about auction strategies and item ideas to excite your donors. Let's get started.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Madison Koutman, and I'm a marketing campaign manager for Givesmart. Joining me, I have Richard Council, my co-marketing campaign manager. We will be your main hosts for today's call.
Hello.
Yeah, so some housekeeping tips as we get going. Please feel free to use the Q&A box for any questions you might have as we go, and check your chat box for resources and links we're going to share throughout the webinar. Our colleague Megan is helping us out on the back end, so keep the questions coming. Also, today's call is being recorded and the recording will be shared with everyone attending. So sit back, maybe get something to take some notes on, and let's get going.
Appreciate that, Madison. I quickly want to jump in and share today's agenda with all of you so you know what to expect for this hour. We'll start with a brief poll before diving into item categories guaranteed to win. Then we'll chat about how to optimize the item types and tech available to you. Last, we'll hit some revenue boosting strategies, including budget-friendly item ideas. And then we'll close it out with Q&A at the end. As we mentioned, keep the questions coming in. We'll answer some live and save some for the end. We definitely want your input, so don't be afraid to put those questions out there. If you have ideas to share or lessons learned, send us those messages in the chat as well so we can incorporate your ideas and feedback during the call. So we're going to push on to the first poll here, and while Madison launches that. So we want to know which auction item you would most likely bid on first if you were attending an auction. So we're curious to see if your preferences match our data. While this poll is going, Madison, can you tell us about some upcoming webinars that might be of interest to our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to see what your guys' answers are. So keep going with that poll. But we wanted to talk about some upcoming webinar opportunities we have to share with you guys. We will be sending links to these upcoming webinars in the follow-up email. These will not be in the chat, but we will make sure that you get links to register for these and join them. August 23rd, we are partnering with the nonprofit Times for their executive session. On August 29th, we have a webinar on fundraising best practices for schools. On September 7th, we will have a webinar on fundraising in the current economy and nonprofit revenue streams with guest speaker from the nonprofit Makeover, Kristen Sharp. And then September 20th, we will be having a demo webinar on our new Givesmart donor CRM. So stay tuned for those. And like I said, we will be sending links in the follow-up email so that you can register for those opportunities. And I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and share results. All right. Looks like all-inclusive vacation to a Caribbean destination of your choice wins. No surprise. That was my first choice too. How about you, Richard?
I mean, I don't know. It just really depends on what the autographed item would be. But I mean,
True.
let's you can't beat like being on an island at the beach. So, I mean,
right.
I can get that.
Yeah. Well, part of the reason that we did this today is because we wanted to see if your answers align with some data that we are going to be sharing. So more on that later, but let's go ahead and dive into our first section, which is item categories guaranteed to win. So yesterday, we emailed a pre-webinar survey to all of you and asked you a few questions about item categories and item types. Thank you to every single one of you who responded. We want to share some of these results with you live right now. So one of the questions we asked was to rank in order for most likely to least likely the item categories your organization prioritizes when acquiring auction items for your events. And here's what you said. So experiences said first choice, which no surprise, you just pulled that with that Caribbean island adventure. Entertainment, 10% said second or said first choice, 35% said second choice, 10% said third. Alcohol and wine, 15% said first choice, 10% said second, and 30% said third choice. And lastly, autographed items, electronics, food, and jewelry overwhelmingly fell into the third and fourth place choice categories. So again, to those of you who did participate in this survey, keep an eye on your inbox. 5 of you will be chosen at random to receive a Starbucks card from our team as a thank you. But we wanted to share these item categories as we dive into data that we have from the Givesmart platform. So Richard, I will throw it back over to you.
Yeah. So Givesmart combed through lines and lines of platform data to find the top and bottom performing item categories in the US. This data lives in our ultimate silent auction study, which Megan will be sharing the link in the chat. I think she just did. There you go. So we'll just move into the top performing item categories in the US. Now, these are in no particular order, but autographed items, alcohol, food, travel / experiences. And then the bottom performing item categories in the US are going to be jewelry, beauty, home, and garden. Now, only you know what your donor base likes the best. So if any of these items and either of these categories perform differently with your donors during your events, you don't have to shy away from those just because of this data. We're only providing some guides for your events based on our data and our data alone. But that doesn't mean that these aren't some good pieces to take away for your events. Oh, if I could get this to load, there we go. So sorry about that.
Okay.
And moving into food and alcohol. So auction packages categorized around food and drink had some of the highest returns compared to fair market value, as well as higher average number of bids. So alcohol averaged 7 to 9 bids per item, depending on the region in the US. Like liquor wagon, wine pool, fund revenue enhancers to add to any event. Guests donate $15 to $25 to win a bottle of wine that is valued from $5 to $100 plus. The bottle should be wrapped in a way that hides the label that makes the type white, red, or rosé known very easily. A diamond in a glass. An uncut diamond is placed in the bottom of a tower of champagne flutes. Every other flute has a crystal or non-precious stone. First, a supporter chooses his, her, their glass. Second, a jeweler checks the stone and puts it in a sealed envelope. And third, the glass gets filled with champagne, perhaps the only opportunity to have it at your event. And last, the winner is announced during your program. The winner can then work with the jeweler to on a standard setting and any upgrades. So we got signature cocktail voting contests, and we got some more on that later. We also have cocktail kits. Moving into the food category, we've got an average of about 100% return on FMV, so fair market value. We've got restaurant gift cards and certificates. Also got gift a meal. Whether you buy the meal, get it for cost, or have it donated by a local restaurant or catering company, the return on investment would be significant. Theme baskets. You got coffee baskets, charcuterie board basket, gourmet pizza kit, cookbook with ingredients for multiple recipes, which actually, I'll be honest with you, I kind of want all of these, just personally. Also consider the curated experiences these themes could offer. So like cooking classes, a personal dinner with a gourmet chef, or a mixology class.
Yeah, I love all of those ideas. I really love the diamond in a glass idea. And I can speak from experience working with a nonprofit. A couple years ago, we would auction off a personal dinner with a gourmet chef. And one year, the chef actually agreed about halfway through the auction to add in a second opportunity because it was bidding so high that he wanted to provide 2 options for personal dinner so that 2 winners could have the opportunity to, he would come with a team, provide food and a beautiful meal for, I think it was like up to 8 or 10 guests. So if you can secure something like that, it really does go quickly. But moving into autographed items and travel and experiences. So autographed items average anywhere between 200 to 500% return on fair market value. And again, this depends on regions in the US based on the data in the silent auction study. And these can include sports memorabilia, signed photographs, some tips to acquire these items. Don't be afraid to reach out to teams or management talent agencies for signed items. just allow yourself time. It can take a lot of time, maybe even up to 6 months or more to get a response. Include an ask or appeal letter with details on your upcoming events, what types of items you're looking for, and your mission, and who or what you impact. For example, again, when I worked at a nonprofit, we reached out to sports teams like the Lions, the Tigers, the Pistons, and Red Wings. I'm in Southeast Michigan, and we got items from each team. It just took a few months for the return. And we even reached out to the management teams for golfers, and we secured a signed photograph of Phil Mickelson. He's known as Lefty. So really exciting opportunities for signed items if you just give yourself the time to acquire those. And then under travel and experiences, these can average about 90 to 110% return on fair market value. As we all saw earlier, these are very popular, but also consider outside of things like vacations, sports events, carnivals, Broadway shows, concerts, tea time, arcades, bowling, laser tag, hot air balloon rides, anything that you can provide sort of maybe a VIP experience or an exclusive experience, can really bump up your auction revenue for these types of items. And with your vacations, if you're having a hard time securing like a vacation somewhere, ask around for anyone who might have connections to someone who owns an Airbnb or a Vrbo, or timeshare owners. And you could even include vacation sponsorship options when soliciting for sponsors for your events. So you have a vacation fund that you can maybe work with a travel agent or something for the person that wins, to pick a location of their choice. So some options there as well, since some of these items can be kind of tricky to get a hold of. So, Richard, I will toss it back over to you.
Yeah, so let's dive into optimizing the item features available to you. So Givesmart offers 6 diverse item types to help you boost event revenue and donor engagement.
Yeah, so let's look at some more feedback from our pre-webinar survey real quick. So we also asked participants to rank in order from most likely to least likely the item types you use or would like to use when building your auction or event. And here's what you said. Silent auction items were overwhelmingly first choice. 55% said first choice. Live auction items, 20% said first choice, 35% said second choice. Donate items, and we'll get into more of each of these item types in a moment. 15% said first choice and 25% said third choice on donate items, which was interesting. Raffle items, 45% said third choice. Vote items, 25% said fourth choice, 50% said fifth choice, and instant items came in sixth choice, 40%. So as a side note, we recently reviewed multiple fundraising campaigns in Givesmart that raised $500,000 or more just for that singular event campaign. And all of them had one thing in common: no matter what choice or how you ranked these items, every single item type was used in these campaigns or were used in these campaigns to enhance revenue. And I mean, they reached over $500,000 a piece, and that was the one thing they had in common. So that's a really strong storytelling piece, that including these items, giving these diverse ways for your donors to participate and contribute, can really impact your event revenue.
Definitely well said. So moving into live auction items, arguably the highest dollar amount and most exclusive items in your auction. These items will be announced live and will get your audience excited to bid and participate. These items can include, like, remember those vacations and exclusive experiences we talked about. Some of your tickets and experience opportunities will be saved for the silent auction, but consider boosting your live auction items group with exclusive or VIP experiences. Valuable event tickets like front row seats, memberships or packages to local businesses and like cultural institutions like gyms or museums. Includes electronics, maybe like gaming consoles, hoverboards, computers, TVs, you name it, basically anything that needs to be plugged in. And then we got dedications. And you have open real estate. You could open naming rights to like a playground for children or exclusive parking spaces. Let your donors bid on the naming rights. You could even open up those opportunities to your sponsors as well. Believe it or not, the exclusive parking spaces sell really well.
Yeah, they really do, which is super, super interesting. And so those were live auction items. We've already touched on some of that, but also diving into silent auction. So overwhelmingly, you guys said that this was your first choice, and it can be kind of straightforward how you gather these items. So we won't dive super deep, but some like different successful items that we've seen in silent auctions include themed baskets. Like you could have baskets made from goods and certificates from local businesses. You could have spa baskets or sports baskets, food baskets, alcohol baskets. I brought up the charcuterie board basket idea in the poll because we did that at a nonprofit that I worked for, and that basket outsold all other baskets. Like it had cheeses and sausages that were all safe to be in a basket for a certain amount of time, and a cutting board and amazing accessories. And it was just very well put together, and it sold like hotcakes. That definitely started a bidding war. So we wanted to include some of these ideas. And as we mentioned, consider some of your smaller opportunities or duplicate opportunities as these silent auction items to drive dollars. So just get creative, have a ton of fun when you're curating these items.
Yeah. Also, instant items. Now, instant items boost revenue. There's no doubt about it. Like your donors get to add to cart like they're shopping. It's almost like when you go to Walmart or like whatever supermarket that you go to, and they have those little bins next to the cash registers where they're like, oh, you have to buy these little pieces of gum or these little things here and there. That's exactly what these are. Now, believe it or not, those account for a huge chunk of revenue for those supermarkets, and they can do the same for your organization as well. So you set the item value and inventory, and you let them shop while they browse and bid. So take advantage of these items before, during, and after your events for like merchandise, gift cards and certificates, event-related items like water bottles for a 5K, food or drink add-ons like party boxes for at-home viewers, literally anything else that you can tack on that could be related to the auction item, the event as a whole, or really anything that has to do with your organization. So don't be afraid to add those little instant items in there, because if they're supporting your mission already, they'll be happy to get those little instant items there too.
Yeah, and actually, I just thought of another one. We've seen organizations when they're hosting golf events and golf auctions, they include things like mulligans as an instant item so that they're paying for their do-over attempt, but essentially that's another donation to your organization. So some really interesting ideas that you can do with instant items, and they're so easy. And looking at our next category, which is vote items. So voting is a fantastic way to boost your revenue in your event. Using the item voting feature to create contests or opportunities for your donors to use their money as their voice. That's what voting is. So we've seen contests for signature cocktails where donors vote to decide the signature cocktail served at an upcoming event. Or we've seen recipe contests and bartender contests. The screenshot that we included was from a virtual bartender contest with First Tea of Delaware. We've seen costume contests like, a pajama contest and pet costumes. And we've seen art contests like gingerbread house decorating and sidewalk chalk. So it's just another way to incorporate maybe small value donations. You can set your voting at any amount of money, and $1, $2, $5, $10 per vote, and you just watch your fundraising soar to new heights. And if you incorporate your audience, your board, your volunteers or staff members, voting can also quickly become an outlet for peer-to-peer or social fundraising, and can bring new donors into your event, which would also boost your revenue. So really great to keep these voting opportunities in mind.
Most definitely. So let's take a look at some donate items. So donate items are unique but very valuable. So simply come up with a cause your donors can donate money towards or contribute to. So we've seen grant programs, memberships, goals, and projects used as donate items in Givesmart campaigns. It's a general donation, but they get to choose the cause or program their money goes to within your campaign. These items show on your auction items page and on your campaign's donation page. So it's a great opportunity for your donors to choose a cause to donate directly to within your campaign. And like, are you fundraising for an addition to your building or new computers for students? Allow your donors the opportunity to donate directly to these fundraising efforts. So it's especially like the example we have here. So donate to a new playground. We mentioned that earlier. This is a perfect opportunity to like have those little extras for your donors to be able to donate to outside of that. So definitely a big piece here.
Absolutely. And our last item category that we want to touch on are raffles. So raffles can be tricky based on location. We know that. So always review your state and local guidelines when considering raffles for your events. Make sure that you get around, to acquiring permits or whatever you need to be able to host a raffle. But using Givesmart's raffle item feature, you can sell raffle tickets online very easily. You could sell raffle experiences like entries to games, or sell opportunities for alternative raffles like reverse raffles or golden ticket raffles. So get creative. Reverse raffles are a fun way to switch up raffle participation, and we'll be sharing more on reverse raffles in the chat if you have questions. We've also seen raffle Plinko boards and golden ticket raffles. We'll touch on golden ticket raffles more in a bit. The raffle Plinko board came from an organization that sold participation to the game as a raffle ticket. And essentially the chance part of the game was that you were dropping your coin or ball down the Plinko board. Some of the spaces that the coin would land in were winners, and you could win, smaller amounts in gift cards, or you could win larger prizes. And then some of the spaces were like losing spaces, so you didn't walk away with a prize. So that was sort of the chance part of the game, which was fun. You can also enter raffle items before your campaign starts and include them on ticket and order forms. So there are different order form types, and you can include those on there to get that raffle entry started before your event starts. And a new feature in Givesmart also offers you the opportunity to label your raffle items as opportunities. So depending on how you want to present your raffles, you can change that setting, which is really, really interesting. But Richard, I will pass it back over to you.
For sure, yeah. So we're going to take a quick pause here to take pulse of the room. As a reminder, and in case you missed it, we are recording today's call, and we'll be sending out an email to all of you within the next 24 hours that will include the recording as well as all resources shared during the call. So we've chatted about item categories that win and Givesmart item features that for event success. But before we move on, we want to know if you would like to learn more about Givesmart for your organization. As a reminder, Givesmart is more than just events. With Givesmart Fundraise, Events, and Donor CRM, your organization can manage all aspects of fundraising, including annual appeals, order forms, ticketing, auctions, donor management, and much, much more. If you and your organization are considering Givesmart, or just overall looking for ways to enhance your use of fundraising events and donor management software, let us know if you'd like any of the options in this poll. We work every day to continue building and integrating softwares for the success of organizations like yours with the mission, or with your mission in mind, that make waves in local, national, and worldwide communities. We want to support you the best that we can. Talk with our team today and let us know if we can help you.
Absolutely. And thank you to everyone who responded to that. We will make sure that a team member from Givesmart gets in contact with you as soon as possible. But let's dive into our last section, which is going to be revenue boosting strategies for before, during, and after your auction-based events. So some ideas we've touched on, but we're going to elaborate on a little bit more. And then we have some other ideas to share with you. So first off, budget-friendly item ideas. Who doesn't love free or low cost item ideas that bring in more money for your organization? So consider any opportunities that provide value to your audience at a low cost to you. So like we mentioned earlier, those reserved parking spots in your lot, or even at local different community places, if you could partner with them, think about those parking spots. Think about reserved seating at upcoming events. Do you have some sort of show, or do you have, even your auction, if this is your 2022 auction, for your 2023 auction, can you offer reserved seating? Consider guides or tours of your organization's facilities, or free use of a venue if you have the space available. Such as if you're an animal welfare organization, offer experiences with your pets or up close tours of the work you do. I know I would definitely probably bid on that kind of item because I love animals and I would love to spend time with animals and learn more about them. So that would be awesome. We mentioned this earlier, but naming rights, if you can offer, naming rights on a wing of your building or on a new playground or anything that you might have going on, any initiative, that could be a great opportunity for you. Also consider a day in the life experience with someone like your executive director or a board member. We actually saw a live auction event that included a day-long hiking experience with the organization's executive director, and they sold it during their live auction and it sold very high. So the executive director offered to take the item winner and multiple people on a hiking trip. He was like very outdoorsy, very knowledgeable about the outdoors and like outdoor survival, and they made it a ton of fun. And like I said, it sold high, like it went over very, very well. You could offer private lessons. Like if you're an arts organization, like a theater group, can you offer lessons or behind the scenes opportunities? Consider exclusive tickets or artwork. You could even provide an executive lunch and work with local restaurants or catering companies to have that sponsored. So anything that you can do that is budget friendly at little to no cost to you is going to only help you boost your revenue overall when you're looking at your auctions. And especially in today's economy and some of the things that we have going on, which we are all very aware of, offering these types of opportunities, if you're low on other types of auction items, can help you boost revenue in other ways that you may be missing out on it or fundraising lower than usual.
Yeah, no doubt. Honestly, I think one of my favorite things is the naming rights thing. I've always been super curious of like how that goes down, but honestly, like if it were up to me, I'd always chase after the naming rights thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's check out some pre-auction stuff. So as the name basically puts it, is you will boost your revenue before your event begins. So as we mentioned, you can add instant items and raffle items to ticketing and order forms before your event begins. Offer your wine pool tickets early or sell tickets to golden ticket raffle. We saw an organization sell golden ticket raffle tickets for like $250 a piece, and they only sold a limited amount of tickets, and they sold out in days, like super quick. And the winner of the golden ticket raffle got to choose a live auction item before the auction started. So it's a great way to raise money and more of like for a first dibs item opportunity. So like for those really sweet items that you definitely want to get moved, but you want to give like those high priority items, this is a great opportunity for that. We also had an organization host a gift card drive at an event. So they encouraged attendees to bring gift cards to local restaurants. And if you bought a gift card, you were entered into a raffle. And all gift cards collected at the event were then saved for another larger event they planned to host later in the year. And that was crazy good. Like it was a hit. So think about what you can do before your event to drive that revenue. And it also helps to get donor information in the system before your event for an easier checkout process. So really, like, don't be like I will always say this, like in any webinar you've ever heard me on, it's like, don't be afraid to try new things, because honestly, that's really what it comes down to. But just poll your donors. I mean, just really understand what they want and what they're looking for, and that's really the easiest thing you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that that these tips, like Richard said, help you get your donor information in the system before the event, because anything you can do to get people registered early, get their credit card information in the system early, it's only going to help with the self check-in process, the regular check-in process, and it makes it easier for them to bid and participate during the event and check out at the end if all of that information is in there from the get-go. So definitely keep these ideas in mind and just get creative with what you can do before your event starts. Anything that you can do to excite your donors and enhance your revenue, that's what we're here for today. So next, we want to touch on text messages. And like I said, as a previous Givesmart customer myself and someone who's worked in nonprofits, I can't emphasize enough the importance of using your text message feature if you have it available. This can help you with self check-in, items with no bids, giving opportunities, auction typing or auction timing reminders, and checkout. So use your texts. Givesmart offers text message templates for all kinds of messages that can help you boost your revenue. So you can enable self-check-in and self-checkout via text. You can push text messages that include links to items with no bids. You can send texts with giving opportunities like donate items that we mentioned earlier. You can provide auction timing reminders such as when the auction opens and warnings maybe 15, 10, and 5 minutes before the auction closes for last minute bids. In my previous role as a Givesmart customer, I was very spoiled by this feature because I could create these texts very simply from the templates, choose which donors or groups of donors I wanted to send them to. Even if I wanted to just send it to everyone, it was easy as a push of a button. I could schedule them for later, and then I could move on and focus on the more important things while the event was running, knowing that those text messages were going to be automated. I was very spoiled. Givesmart's text messaging features and text messages in general make it easy, and they really do work. It was amazing the amount of bids we would see rolling in after that 5-minute warning because everyone's finishing that bidding war and trying to get those items at the end. So really, really awesome opportunity if you can enable the use of your text messages within your organization.
Yeah, and I will say, like, as a millennial, when I have text message reminders, like regardless of what it is, I like my participation goes up immediately just because like I have that constant reminder. So definitely meet your donors where they are. And so that's going back to your donor info is just like making sure you know what they like and know where they want to be met. And so that's definitely a big piece there. So yeah, text messages are sweet. So let's move into post-auction. So post-auction opportunities to rake in those last few dollars. So offer item shipping or item drop off at discounted rates for attendees. Now we all know that it's the thought that counts, but try and take a better route or take a better route than the brown paper bag method that we show here. Now it's great. Thank you with love and it means well, but come on, we're all better than that. We can do a little bit better. So like your donors want to know that, you know, you care about them. So if you can do a little better than the brown paper bag method. Use leftover items for your silent auctions in a post-event raffle as discounted instant items for shopping, or host a small, quick discounted auction for those items. And then for your bidders who lost out on items in a bidding war, encourage them to donate the amount of their last bid. It's a great way to get those last few dollars in your bank for your event. So definitely some really good strategies here on the back side of things. You never want your donors that lost out on a bidding war to feel discouraged. You want them to participate in future events and future auctions. So anything that you can do to keep them engaged, definitely go after it. But yeah, I know Madison has a lot of experience with this of being a Givesmart customer. So if you have any other post-auction strategies that you did in your past role, definitely let us know.
I think, yeah, absolutely. Offering those post-auction shipping or item drop-off opportunities are like they can fundraise more than you would think. And it was really amazing the feedback that we got on that, because especially back during COVID and then even moving forward into the future with coming back into live events, some people want their items shipped, or if you're doing a hybrid auction and you have attendees that are virtually attending from non-local locations, maybe they're all the way across the country, you give them the opportunity and they can cover the cost of their shipping with an additional donation. And we had no problem securing those donations when we would ask for them. We also listed that as an instant item so they could check out and add that to their cart automatically. And another thing that we had happen was we had people that would donate $50 to cover the cost of their item shipping and multiple other item shipping, which was amazing. And any of that money we didn't use came back to the organization. So it was really encouraging. We had great feedback on it, and any of those extra experiences that you can provide to make life easier for your donors is only going to come back to you tenfold. So that's my advice there. Was item shipping went over very, very well. But we covered a lot today, and we are finished a little bit earlier than planned, but we're going to dive into our Q&A and cover some of the questions that we've had coming in. So feel free to continue sending in those questions. We're going to spend a little bit of time here and answer as many as we can. As a final reminder, we will be sending out a full recording of today's webinar, as well as resources covered and links to upcoming webinars. So be looking for that in your inboxes later today or tomorrow. But one of our first questions that came through, someone asked our thoughts on consignment items such as vacations, signed pieces, etc. So a response from Megan, who's actually working on the back end right now to share those chat resources with you and get your questions to us. She has some experience, and I asked her advice. And like she said, all consignment companies are not the same. So make sure the items you are reserving are truly no risk, meaning that you only have to purchase items that were actually sold at the event. If bidding doesn't reach the minimum bid amount, then no transaction with the company should take place. This guarantees that you profit on all items sold. Consignment companies specialize in knowing what items will draw high bids from your donors, and they can usually offer these items at attractive prices. These are known as high yield items and include things such as artwork, signed sports items, and celebrity memorabilia, tickets, travel packages, whatever you can do. Even though your nonprofit maybe won't keep the full amount at the end raised on the consignment item, your profit can still be hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the item. So thank you, Megan, for that feedback. And thank you for the question. And let's see, another question. And Richard, I'll throw this one to you. Do you recommend using at least one of each of these item categories in an event, or is that too many?
So if you're like me, you like to take risks just to see what works the best. It just really depends on what your bandwidth allows. So, I mean, if you have the opportunity to try each one, do it, because that's going to open you up to really know what works the best with your donor base and what doesn't. And so that way, next go around, you can really focus on the thing that worked the best. But if you can't do it all at once, try to break it up. Just do 2 types here and there, do 2 types there, and or just try one every single event. So it just really depends on what you well, one, your time frame, 2, bandwidth, and what you're really wanting to get out of it. So personally, I mean, I think it's valid either way. I mean, you're going to get really great data from each pathway you choose to take. But yeah, I mean, just my thing is just be confident going into each one that you decide to do, because I mean, like I said, the data that you get back from it is going to help you connect with your donors better, and they're going to become long-term donors, and that's really what you want. So, Madison, what
Yeah.
do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, of course, as we mentioned earlier with those examples that we saw that raised over $500,000, and they had all used at least one item per item category that we shared. So those live, silent, donate, vote, raffle, instant items. But like Richard said, you may not have the time, the capacity to be able to do that. It is totally up to you what you want to try. You could even poll your donors and ask them what they want to see, if they would like an experience like that during your event. So it's totally up to you and what you're comfortable with. Of course, we encourage using those because those diverse opportunities will help you boost your revenue, but it's definitely up to you and your organization and what you guys have the capacity for. Another question, do you have guidance on how many silent auction items to have for the number of people expected at the event? This is a live event. We are limited to 75 people. We will not have a live auction, but we will have a silent auction that will be shared with our supporters outside of the room too. So love that you guys are opening up your auction to attendees that can't be in the room because you have that limited number. That was going to be my first piece of advice. Make it hybrid, live stream it, do whatever you can do to include the people who are outside the room and bring them in and make them feel like they are attending in the room. As far as the number of auction items, that's up to you and what you are able to bring in, either via donation, consignment, like we mentioned, or any other avenue. I would recommend evaluating what your most popular items have been in previous years, what your attendee demographics might look like, and try to fit items into categories that suit those donors that will be attending both in person and virtually. So, if you have an audience that is more likely to be focused on sports, or just depending on what the scope of your event is, try to cater to that audience. Maybe 2 items per attendee might be a good way to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to bid on something, and there's an item that appeals to everyone. So it's just up to you. It's up to what your donor base looks like and what you can pull in, and how you can survey your donors as well to see what they would prefer out of your auction. So I hope that helps. I don't have a solid number to recommend for you, but Richard, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, outside of the total number, I mean, I don't know, it just really depends. Like I'll always say it always depends on like what you're capable of providing. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a sweet spot or not. It's just kind of one of those things where it's like it's more along the lines of trial and error, which there's never error. It's just trying it out and seeing what works the best. But honestly, it's you want to give everybody the opportunity to bid on things that they would want to bid on, but for the most part, it has everything to do with what you provide. So, I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. Another question. Thank you guys. Keep these questions coming. These are really great questions. What are your thoughts on not displaying silent auction items? So I'm curious if you're asking about not displaying them in person at your event, which I would absolutely encourage, because I think it can make it fun to have everyone go online and do that mobile bidding. Or you could sort of balance it and have all of your items online and only have a few out on the tables for viewing. You can upload as many item images and videos under an item listing as you want. So if you're worried about not being able to display all of them, or you want to test the waters a little bit, you could do fun in-depth teaser videos on what's included in that item or those baskets, and make it fun if you're hosting them online. So it's totally up to you and what you want to do. We've seen it done all kinds of ways. So it's also up to your donors and what they want to see. If you think that they would enjoy having that opportunity online, go for it. And then it's also easier for you at the end when you have item checkout, because you can have everything organized behind the scenes and you're not having to pull things off tables and arrange them and have people wait for their item that they won. So it's totally up to you. Like I said, we've seen it done many, many ways. Richard, anything you want to add to that one?
Yeah, that was perfectly summed up.
All right. Another question. Do you have any data on the success of themed auctions aligned with your mission, such as pets? Richard, do you want to take that one away? Do you have any thoughts to share?
I'll be honest with you, I don't have it in front of me, but I'm
Sure.
sure, actually, I know that we have a bunch of data like that,
Yeah.
that we can pull, and I'm more than happy to send that afterwards. But at this moment, I don't have anything right off the top of my head. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of on the same page as far as data goes. We could definitely pull some ideas and pull some examples and share those with you guys in a follow-up email. Something I have seen done from our friends and partners that have themed events. If you're doing a themed auction and you're worried about how auction items would perform, I definitely encourage embracing those other item types. We have seen like pet celebrity look-alike competitions where someone enters a picture of their pet and who they like, what celebrity they think their pet looks like, and it's a voting competition, and it's hilarious. And that's a great add-on to your event, where, like we said earlier, their vote is maybe a $2, $5, or $10 donation to your organization. So that could be a great add-on to a themed event. So get creative, have fun with it. We can see if we can pull some themed auction examples for you guys to explore, but that's a great question. Let's see. Have you seen success in silent auctions being open prior to the event for online bids? Yes, definitely. So we have seen of this done a few different ways as well. In my organization previously, we would, leading up to the event, we would set the auction items as preview. So we didn't open it up for bids right away, but we opened it as preview for like some teasers, like once the auction opens, these are the items that you're going to be able to bid on. So that was a really fun way to get that engagement going. We have also seen organizations open auction items in waves. So let's say you have 100, you could break those up into groups of 20, and maybe you open up 20 of them before the auction starts, a week before or 5 days before, whatever you're comfortable with, and get that auction activity going before your auction starts, and then the rest of your auction items open up during the event. It's up to you, but you absolutely have those capabilities for your events. And it gets the engagement going before your event. Like I said earlier, it gets your donor information and credit card information in the system before the event starts for easier check-in and check-out, and participation overall. So we've definitely seen success with organizations doing that. Let's see. We also have a question. How many silent and live auction items is enough, and how many is too many? So from experience, I would say you can have as many as you want. If you're having luck, if you're bringing in a lot of items, don't feel like you have to use them all for that specific event. You could hold them over as long as they don't have any kind of expiration date. You could use them for different types of events. You could even, like we said, you could use them in a pre-auction experience where you have maybe some items go live before the event starts. You save the bulk of it for during, and then maybe you have a post-auction discounted sale with leftover items, or, whatever you want to do. You can be creative with that diverse set of items. I think, too many is never too many, because you're just going to have diverse item types for your donors to bid on, and you can be creative with what you have left over. Richard, anything you would say for or against that, or anything to add?
I mean, the only spot that I disagree with is having
Sure.
too many.
Okay.
Just because, like, it's almost like, now, granted, there are a lot of people that like Cheesecake Factory. I like Cheesecake Factory, but you go and then it's like a million pages worth of menu. And so you kind of get to this point where you're like, wow, I'll just pick something, right? So you kind of run that risk with too many items also. And so, like, you kind of have this thing where you're like, then people don't really, they don't know what they want to bid on. Like, there's either too many good items, or like there's like these too many items that have already been bid on, and it's you kind of get in this routine of like, your donors are kind of in this weird stressful situation almost, and you want to make it easy. And so what I would do is, I mean, then again, you don't really know what the right number is, but you can try to, like, sum it up to, like, I'm going to do 5 of this type, 5 of this type, 5 of this type, kind of thing, just depending on how many you have. But it's good to have, like, a consistent number that you're comfortable with. Whether or not that's 10, 15, 20 items or whatever, but try to make it diverse, but not too difficult to make decisions. You know what I mean? So, like, make it
Yeah.
easy on your donors, but
Sure.
but also don't make it a stressful bidding situation.
Yeah. No, I think that is great advice. Absolutely. And let's see, I'll do one more question. I know we had quite a few more come in, so thank you guys for that, but we'll do one more question before we wrap up. Let's see. How do I make my fundraising event more fun or different? I feel like when I get an invitation to an event, I think, oh no, another boring fundraising event. Completely understand that sentiment. Yes, absolutely. We actually have a new guide that is going to be coming out within the next couple of weeks that is all about adding fun experiences and games to your fundraising events. So we will make sure to share that with you guys when that is published. It's going to be brand new and really, really fun. But some ways to make your event more exciting could be to add more games, add more experiences. Like, you could do heads or tails. If you've never heard of that before, your guests, similar to like a raffle or a ticketed opportunity, can pay to participate. And then there's a prize that they could win at the end. And you're literally standing on stage with a coin, calling heads or tails when you flip it. And before you flip the coin, they have to either put their hands on their head or hands on their tails. And then depending on what the coin lands on, some people get eliminated until you're down to your last 2 and then your winner. And it's hilarious and it's fun and it's embarrassing. And it just makes it more fun. So anything that you can do that are those fun, engaging, exciting experiences, even if they're small experiences. We've also seen like gift card walls and, different opportunities for you to engage in fundraising opportunities differently. Anything that you can do like that is only going to improve your donor experience overall. Richard, anything else to add?
No, I mean, honestly, I was just going to piggyback off of anything that's engaging. Like, I mean, it just comes down to like you don't want people just sitting around doing nothing, right? So it's just kind of even those icebreaker kind of events. You still want people to engage with the organization as a whole. So like, even though they're engaging with other people, how can you get them to be part of the mission, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, games are a big deal. Just keep people entertained. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. One last question that did come in that I will answer just very quickly before we wrap up. How do you control who pays to play heads or tails? So you could easily sell those tickets online, and then during the check-in process or something like that, you could give your guests those like cheesy, paper wristbands that you used to get at arcades, or you could give them some sort of like light up gadget, like a little light up ring. Those are always popular because everybody is flashing in the room. So when they stand up to participate, they raise their wristband or they raise their flashing item, and you know that they paid to play. So there are definitely some options that you can, control who participates based on who paid to play. But just have fun with it, make it hilarious, and your donors will definitely enjoy engaging in those kinds of games and experiences. But thank you everyone for joining us today. You can connect with both Richard and I on LinkedIn. We'll be sharing our LinkedIn profiles here in the chat. We also have our emails up here on the screen. If you have any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to connect with us or reach out to us. We are always here to help, and we're always here to help you forward your mission. On that note, it is time to say farewell for today and end the webinar. Please use that end of webinar survey to share your feedback with us and request contact if you do want to learn more and you didn't connect or you didn't request contact earlier. But thank you again to everyone who joined us, and we will see you all next time.